indicate high class. The video indicate that number of student business plan, how it's supposed to be written and how it's supposed to be done. Now, well, the next thing that I would like to talk about it is the fact that as a group, you are requested in the end of this semester to submit a group plan, which is you need to work on it, and I think you should start very soon to work on it because it's going to take some time and effort, and because it's a group, I'm expecting to a very good quality work in there. So you better start talking to your group and plan for writing your business plan, please. Now, let's start with the chapter, probably chapter 7 today, and if we have time, we'll do a chapter 8. So that's okay. Now, in this chapter, it's about the business plan, creating and starting the venture. Every business, you need to start with your business plan. So in this chapter, we'll talk about the details of the how to build your business plan. And let me know if you have any question. You can write or talk to me. Now, our plan is really to.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Our individual assignment is due today, right?
The what? The assignment?
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
assignment.
yes. Yeah, yeah. Today.
Okay.
So you need to send it today. Okay. Um, okay. So basically, it's we need to today we'll planning as a part of the business operation. So whenever you are trying to do a business operation, you have to start with a business plan and you plan for it. So planning is a process that never ends, by the way. So once you do a business plan, you revise it, and after a while you revise it again and again. But as a startup, you need a preliminary business plan, which is finalized over time. Um, Now, the best way of writing a business plan is you need to write the skeleton of a business plan, what's made up, and then you try to fill up the space. But before you write and when you write the skeleton, you need to define the target, what you are writing about, and then you just write your business plan accordingly. So there are many different types of plan which all contribute to a business operation. So you should have or you should run to financial business plans, marketing plans, human resource plan, production plan if you're producing, or service plan if you're providing a service, and the sales plan, which is drive the sales, which is the revenue. Plans may be short-term or long-terms, so you can create a short-term and a long-term plan, or short-term, mid-term, and long-term plan. And all the plans have one purpose, is to provide the guidance and the structure to management in a rapidly changing market environment. Now, keep in mind, the plan will be reviewed, for example, when you do a business plan, reviewed by a different sectors or different people who might be helping you. Some financier might be helping you, some marketing might be helping you, some accountant might be helping. All of them, they need to understand, some, businessman can help understand what is required to deliver this, and especially they will be uh, contributing and picking on their part, which is they understand much better now. So it's very important that your business plan should have financial, marketing, human, production, if it's production or a service plans, plus the sales, how you're going to deliver the sales. Now, what is a business plan? A business plan is a written document that describes all the relevant and external and internal relevant information that to start a venture. Often an integration of the functional plans. For a startup, it addresses short-term, long-term decisions and the process of it. And it's long-term decision for the first 3 years operation. The plans is like a roadmap for a business development. So it will show what we supposed to do in the beginning, what we need to have, and then the development. It is a tool that you can communicate with everybody, and a certified, a clear tool that you need to put up front. You cannot have a plan in your mind and you say, okay, I'm going to plan it. Sometimes whatever in your mind is different what is written on the document. And and people wants to see a documented plan. And you need to know that there is external factors that are uncontrollable. There are some control over manufacturing, marketing, and personnel, but not 100%. But you put your indication there. When they're preparing a plan, the entrepreneur can determine how much money is needed to achieve this. So you need to put what do you need for the first year, and then the second year, how you're going to generate, whether you're going to need more money or you're going to generate it all from your sales and the profit, or a combination of that. So you need a financial plan to build there also. Now, who should write the plan? The entrepreneur should write the plan, but you might ask a consultant, might do that for you, or you need consultant support. You might ask a lawyer, an accountant, marketing consultant, and engineers as useful are useful for you if you're doing a production, or you might search these, available on net for this information. Now, the entrepreneur could hire or offer equity to others with the expertise. So if you think that you cannot really operate to run the business plan, and you need some support, so you can offer a partnership or equity with that. The entrepreneur should assess their own skills to help them determine if they need to hire a consultant. So when you write a business plan, you need to know, can you deliver all these skills, or do you need a consultant or somebody to support you? It's very important to know how far your skills can take you and how much it can stop you there. So you might need a consultant to do that. An assessment identifies what skills are needed and how can be obtained. It's a very important to for a complete business plan. The scope and the value of the business plan. Prepare before preparing the business plan, a quick feasibilities study determine any possible barriers to success. So let me put something ahead of why we are talking about business plan. Nobody will be willing to put their resources, whether money, time, effort, if he doesn't feel or she doesn't feel that you are well prepared. And part of showing that you're well prepared is generating a business plan. So you say, I'm going to be selling cheese. The first thing people will ask you, do you have a plan for that? Unless you are digging to your own resources and you are not looking for anybody else's help, then you don't need a business plan. But if you are utilizing other people's resources, doesn't matter, money, funds, places, loan from a bank, they all will be seeking a business plan from you. This is why it is important. Now, even if you want to be immigrant these days to Canada as an investor, the first thing they want to see a business plan, how you're going to invest in Canada. So it's like in the business world, a business plan is the door opening for you. You might not get granted the loan or anything, but definitely for sure they would not grant you if you don't have a business plan ready, written one. So before you preparing a business plan, a quick feasibility studies determine any possible barriers to success. So you might want to do a marketing research, you might do some surveys, you might go collect some secondary data, primary data, and put them all together to come up with your supportive data for your business plan. So one of the things that you need to do is clearly define the venture goal and the objective. What's your objective? What's your goal that you need to reach to it? Don't leave it subjective. If the goals and the objective are too general, then it becomes subjective or just open and not feasible. The business plan will be difficult to control and implement. So if you say, my goal is within 1 year to capture the Canadian market, the first thing I'm going to say, yeah, sure, whatever. But if you say, the first year I'm going to establish to make sure that I will break even within this area of the city to do these things, then I would say, yes, maybe let me read more about it. So well-defined goals and objective are important, giving the impact of today technology on the ventures. So once this foundation is in a place, establish strategy decisions. Then you need to start working on the second step. So the first step is to define the market, the making it easier to a project market size and subsequent market goals. So you need to uh, define the market size. You need to, um, make sure that you have a certain target. Who is your target? Evaluate the general environment and the demographic trends. That the assess the trend in the industry from a nation perspective. Um, so as I said, these are needs to be very clear before you start moving on with developing your plan. Because if it's not clear at the first step, then the rest is will be built on a not clear vision. Next, look at the local environment and the demographic trends. So, specifically your local industry trend, what's the trend? And finally, assess the strength and weakness of local competitors. So as we said, probably in the earlier videos, it showed that how you do a SWOT analysis and drive the SWOT analysis to mass analysis. Cumulative, the assessment lead to a market positioning and market objective. So all these processes need to be done clearly and precisely. So um, basically the operation information needs to do these issues. The fact that you need to do a location and whether you have an accessibilities. So you need to pick a location, like say within GTA, within Toronto, within Canada. What kind of machinery that you need to do, whether it's a, if it's a service or a supply or a um, manufacturing or product? Do you need raw materials? What kind of suppliers and costs for that? The equipment, uh, its cost and whether leased or owned. These are all comes in into estimating if you, the investor or the entrepreneur who's going to put his money in, he needs to see how much is going to cost him, what it's costing him. You need to start with a very clear step, and then the labor, skill, and personnel needed. Um, the total amount of space needed, leased or owned, as we said, the overhead costs, daily overhead costs, monthly overhead costs, costs that you're going to pay whether you are producing or not. That's what you call an overhead cost. What kind of technology you need? Do you need an internet? Do you need how many PCs? Do you need a mobile? All these need to be cleared in the first stage. Each item may require some research. So if I need a PCs or I need a laptops or I need a mobile or a tablet, you need to do the research for them. How many of them you need and what's the minimum thing that you can survive, because he's going to put his money or resource to finance, you know, whether but keep in mind each one will look differently at your business plan. So if you're looking at somebody who is a banker and wants to give you a loan, he might be very much interested to see that you have enough collaterals that if you, just in case you lose, they can guarantee their money. But if you're talking about a venturous guy, it's a different. He's going to look at how much is venture there, so how much entrepreneur there. So they have two different process concept of looking at it. If you're looking at somebody as an HR, you would need to know the the people, the manpower you need, and the skills attached to it. So it's a different way of looking at your business plan, and the business plan has to be completed, done. Now, the next issue that you need to look at is the financial information that it's needed. Very important. The financial information. How much do you need? The concept that, okay, let's start and then worry about if there is more funds, we can finance it. It doesn't do it here, especially if you want to start from the zero. Unless it's your money, then it's a different thing. But if you're not clear about the financial part, there would be not many banks are willing to finance you. Not even non-profit organization, NGOs, non-government organizations are willing to invest in that. The entrepreneur should, so the entrepreneur should prepare a budget for the first year before completing the financial section of a business plan. That's including the capital expenditure, how much you're going to spend, the operation expense, and the cash expenditures. So, and also you need to forecast from the sales using the market data. So what's you gonna revenue, because they want to see how long and how much they have to finance you. It's very important to sometimes people look at how much they're gonna invest, finance you, and some people wants to see how long they have to finance you. These are two separate issues. Forecast the revenue from sales using the market data, identify industry benchmark to prepare performance statement. So you need to look at the market industry benchmark, what they're looking at, how they're working at. You need to use tools like internet as a resource tool at very little cost. The internet also provides opportunity for e-sales, which is we're going to talk about the e-marketing and e-sales. Access the competitors' website, looking at the social medias, feedback, who is interested in what product. These are all information that you can seek there. Now, when you come to writing the business plan, the plan should be a comprehensive enough that an investor has a complete understanding of your venture. In other words, a business plan um, may uh, sorry about that. A business plan may take hundreds of hours to prepare. It's or could be taken in one day, but it should be a comprehensive enough that an investor, doesn't matter if it's a bank or an NGO or that understand your venture. A little, the little or a coverage page provide a brief summary, and it should include, because the first thing that you're gonna attract somebody is he needs to something grabs his attention, and in the business plan the cover page would be the company name and address, name of entrepreneur, if there is a number, website, email, paragraph describing the company and the nature of the business, the amount of finance needed, and the statement of confidentialities. So you need to make sure that these information is not leaked by the investors. There is also comes in the executive summary, which is the first thing they're going to look at it is, I'm going to read the executive summary. If it's interesting, then I will go and read the rest of your business plan. It could be made of 30 page, 100 page, or 200 pages. But the executive summary should be first there to read, to understand or what's your general point of view and how you're going to do it in general and what I'm expecting to make as a general. And it should be between 2 to 3 pages, no more than that, and highlight keys in it, something that will attract the reader, will go in and start understanding what more, excited to read about it. So the address the question, which is include, what is the business concept or a model? So are you gonna, you need to tell me the model, you need to tell me the concept behind of the business, what are you gonna do? How is the business concept or model unique? That's the selling point for the investors to invest. Why is unique? Why you think your business will fly and the other doesn't? And that's where with the investors will be paying more attention, becomes more credential. who are the individuals starting this business. Uh, they need to build the credential. If you've never been a car salesman or you never sold a car before, and you tell a bank, I want to open a place to sell cars, that would not be a very, credential. How will they make money and how much? So it needs very clear how much you're making money and how you're going to make the money. Some people will make money from direct selling and making a profit, and some people will make money from uh, other way of doing business. For example, if you're looking at the car dealership, um, they make only 30% of their profit from selling cars. The rest of the profit comes in from maintenance, from financing, from upgrading. That's how they make their profit. Now, let me give you a good example. One day I had a meeting with somebody who was interested in buying IBM servers from me. And he was looking around. So because we have a big company, so he thought that we can give him a cheaper rate. So I gave him the price. He said, that's unacceptable. I tried to get him cheaper and cheaper price. He said, this is not acceptable. So I came in, he said, well, I'm not gonna make a profit if you're gonna give me this prices. So I said, how you make a profit? He said, well, my profit comes in, I sell the most of the servers in the country. And the way I make money is the fact that I, before I give them the server, I collect the money from them because I'm well known. And I promised them to deliver the server 6 months down the road. But I've collected already their money and I put it in a bank, and this is how I make my profit. So I said, you're not making a profit from selling the servers? He said, no. And the reason I sell so many servers because I'm cheaper than everybody else. Meanwhile, these people comes into me because they see me cheaper than everybody else. I take their cash and I put it in a bank, and this is how I make my profit. So you need to make sure that you understand how will they make money and how much you make money. So this person makes 10% of profit out of the sales by putting the money in the bank. And this is how he makes his profit. The others, like us, we are upgrading the prices. So if we get it for $10,
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, please explain this again, sir. I'm not getting.
I'm sorry?
I'm not getting this point, sir.
Okay. Thank you for a question.
No, sorry for that.
No problem. Wonderful question.
Okay, sir.
The issue is like this. There is an old story, and the story is about a merchant. This merchant, I'm just gonna remind me, the merchant, an old man, um, how he makes a profit. Somebody asked him, how do you make profit? You are selling the box of tomato for $10. You are buying the box of tomato for $10. How you make this profit? How come you survive? He said, it's true. I'm buying the box of tomato for $10 and I'm selling the box of tomato for $10. So I'm not making a profit in that, but I'm taking the box. When somebody comes in and buys tomato, I put these tomatoes for him in a bag. And I take this empty box and I sell it to somebody who needs woods. And this is how I make my profit. my money. Now, this person, when we are having a standard business. So our standard business is that I buy the server at $3 million and I sell it at $3 million. It's a mainframe, $3 million and $200,000. So $3.2 million. That's how I sell it, and I make a profit of $200,000 when I sell the server. The concept, this person is different. He says everybody in a market sells at $3.2 million. I sell it at $3 million. So I'm the cheapest person as a product. Everybody will come look for a cheap price. So they find me that I'm selling it at $3 million. So people will buy more from me and they have to make the deposit for it. I take that deposit and put it in the bank, and a bank will give me an interest rate of 10% on it. And this is how I make my profit. I said, okay, so the concept is a different. I think it's a clear how people will make profit. Now, if you notice, um, uh, some people, you go there and they buy the second-hand car. Some of them will fix it and sell it for a higher price. So if you're writing a business plan to sell second-hand car, you say, I'm going to buy this amount of the cars. It cost me $50,000, and I'm going to upgrade the price to $60,000. So I'm making a profit of $10,000. Other people says, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to buy the second-hand car, make it a pieces, and sell it at pieces. And the pieces sometimes makes more profit for me. So in your business plan, you need to define how you will make money and by how much. So it is a different way of doing it. If you notice, um, um, uh, all these uh, mobile companies, they give you a free mobile, some of them. Some of them charge you for that mobile. But the one who is giving you a free mobile, he's not really giving you a free mobile. He's making you sign a contract for a 1 year or 2 years where he is a little bit overcharging you on the rate that you're going to use in this mobile, and this is how he makes his money. So you have to define how you're going to make your money and how much you're going to make your money. I think if it's not clear, just write to me or let me know so I can explain more for you. Thank you for the question. Now, the other things that you need to look at it is the environment analysis identify national and international trend. So what's the environment? What's the business that you are getting into it? Who is involved in this environment? Now, let me give you an example. Um, you are in a business of making water. The head of the bottle of water is more expensive than the rest of the bottle of water. So if you're in the business of recycling, some of you will probably uh, take these empty bottles and throw them in a garbage, but in the same time, you're charging the customer for taking all these empty bottles. There is another way you need to look at it. Says, okay, maybe I will beat these guys who take these empty bottles and charge the customer for taking empty bottles. I will tell my customer, I will give you 5 cents for every bottle I'm going to take it from you. Because later on, this you can resell it or recycle it or in the environment for 10 cents. So the customer will say, okay, so I'm not giving you any money and I'm making 5 cents. So you need to analyze the environment and national environment there. The environmental factor include also, you need to look at the economy, how much they are making, the cultural, the technology, and the legal concerns. These are all uncontrollable. So in a market that you are looking at, you're not going to sell high-end product in a place where you really going through a recession, for example. Right now, people are not very much worried about their work, their future. The selling houses is going down, for cars is going down. It's a little bit complicated. You need to look at it. For example, cars. Right now, if you have an American car, second-hand car, you can sell it for a very expensive price. Why? Because the production in USA stopped from producing American cars. So the price for second-hand cars is going high because for two reasons. The demand for American cars goes up, but in the same time, they are not producing enough parts to control to fix the second-hand cars. So suddenly there is a big demand for people will be love to trade your American car for a Japanese car, for example. This is an only example. So you need to look at the economy, the culture, the technology, the legal concern. An industry analysis focus on a specific um, for the specific industry trend, such as industry demand and competition. You look at these, you do your research, you do your analysis, and the last part of this, you need to include how the customer and is and what business environment like. So the information is significant for preparation of marketing plan. Let me give you a good example. After 9/11, I was in charge of writing a business plan for a higher education solution in MENA, Middle East and North Africa. Now, part of my plan is to look at 9/11 situation and look at the effect of 9/11 situation legally and culturally, from economic, from technology. Now, after 9/11, and usually Middle Eastern people, it's mostly it's an oil industry, and they are wealthy. But exactly after 9/11, most of the businesses, the law in USA became very tough to accept people from Gulf to come and study in USA. So looking at this side, in my business plan, I indicated that there will be lots of students who will be graduating and they don't have a place to do their education. So there will be a pressures on governments to enlarge, to increase the number of colleges and universities within their country. Secondly, they will be probably financing more education center. And the third, there will be a major demand from college people to go to a modernized colleges and universities. So the old style would not be acceptable. Now, a country like Saudi Arabia, that year they issued over 90 license to operate as a colleges and new colleges and new universities. Imagine suddenly in Saudi Arabia there is extra 90 college and universities. In Kuwait there were 10. In UAE there were 20. Suddenly All this was part of my business plan, and says, okay, so there is a demand for an ERP solution within education. So we need to work it out. And this is how you get the environmental factor inside this. Um, uh, Another example, like Zoom, which is we are using it, it's been in the market for over 10 years. So far, they used to have within USA, I think 20 million subscribers now. In the old days, they didn't have not even 2 million subscribers. For the last 10 years, they had 2 million subscribers. This year, they have a 20 million subscribers. Somebody did not put it in their business plan to see, in this case, let's fix up things before thing until Zoom started selling too much, and then they had some crashes, they had some security issues, there were all much too many troubles and problems. Now they're matching the market. Now let's assume Skype was more ready, so the Skype is doing more business. So all these things, this has to be a part of prediction, something that's not controllable. Now, this probably we'll talk about this slide before we take a break. The description of the value, ventures, and production plan. So here we're talking about production plan. We're not talking about business plan. The description of the venture should begin with the mission statement. When you do a business plan, the venture should have a mission statement, should include the key element of the ventures. So you want to open a falafel place, sell the best falafel. I want to be the best falafel providers in GTA. So that's your mission statement. And my mission statement was in my business plan, we should provide a full turnkey solution for higher education. That's my mission plan. And then I build it, breakdown of the mission plan. Location is a function of type of business, and map may be helpful. So you pick a location and then you map it from it. If a new venture is a manufacturing, which is, we said, a production plan, and production plan need, for example, you should have, it's necessary, it should describe the entire manufacturing process and how it's supposed, and whether there is subcontracting, because there is a process supposed to be done, how you're going to, for example, produce bottle of water. If you say, I'm going to produce bottle of water, you should show the process of it. Describe the physical layout of the plant, the machinery, the equipment, the raw materials needed, the cost of manufacturing. All these should be part of the business, which could be financial, and manpower, which is the HR plan, all this, a combination of them. And eliminate this section if there is no manufacturing. If you're not manufacturing, if you're not producing, you're just importing, you need then for a warehouse, or if you're planning to, provide service, is much different. Now, you remember in the last class, I spoke about how you type of shop dropping, like a Amazon, how it works, and how is Tijari.com it works. So you might think of it that way when you're reselling your products or reselling your service. So, but all business an operation marketing plan, all business should include an operation plan. So it doesn't matter whether you are doing production or a business, you should do an operation plan. Now, we will let me finish this slide and then we will take a break after that. All business should include an operational plan. It includes the flow of goods and services from the production to customer, including the steps of the steps that you need to take on it. Okay. The marketing plan describe how the product will be distributed, priced, and promoted. We will be back after the break, talking about more about the marketing plan and a business plan, how is this supposed to be. Now, please, probably we'll come back at 4:45, and okay, 4:45 will be joining. Hope you had a good break. Now, let's finish this chapter, and then we probably, if we have time, we'll finish chapter 8. Otherwise, we'll leave it until next week. But there is a very short videos that you need to see also regard of how to do a marketing and a marketing plan and marketing plan. So basically, we'll continue with the chapter 7. And then after chapter 7, we'll do some short videos, and then we will go and talk about chapter 8 if we have time. Now, we stopped at the operation plan and marketing plan. And if you're providing services, your operation plan will be different than if you're providing productions in the plan. So we said that all businesses should include an operational plan. And in the operational plan, you need to describe the flow of goods and services from production to the customer, including the steps of completing in a business transaction. The marketing plan describe how the product will be distributed, priced, and promoted. So the 4 P's, as you learned, price, promotion, place, and product. These are the things that you need to look at it, and describe the market research evidence to support the critical marketing decision making. So and the potential investors regard the marketing plan as a critical to success. This is an annual requirement for a short-term and decision-making. So in a nutshell, means a big chunk of the plan is a marketing plan, very important to see how you're going to promote your product, to see how you're going to market your product, how you manage your product, product management, manage the distribution, the channel management. This is all important for you. So when I wrote them, for example, and keep in mind, when I did, for example, the business plan for many ventures that I did, especially the one for the international turnkey system, because they had like around 28 offices in the 22 countries. So I needed to be very precise of the marketing plan, how it's supposed to do, and who is supposed to deliver the services, who's in charge of what. Now, on what kind of product that we are looking for. And the thing that you need to look at it also, the organization plan, the assessment of risk, you want to see what's the risk there, because they want to see when somebody wants to invest, he wants to understand the risk involved in it, and also if there is an exit strategy in the business. So he doesn't want to be stuck in that. If there is no exit strategy, then it would be very difficult to have somebody is really uh, invest in you. The organization plan describe the ventures forms of ownership. So you need to see whether is it a partnership or you will be running it, who is going to be making decisions, who is owns what and how much. It should be so a partnership should be included in term of partnership, what kind of partnership. A corporation should include the number of shareholders, share options, names and addresses. Now, if it's a small business, that you don't need to talk about the share authorized and the share options. But if you are opening a bank account for your business, first thing they're going to ask you, you need about your board of directors to establish the business here in Canada, and who's going to be assigned, authorized to sign on checks, and who's the co-author and all these things. So whether you want to put it in your business plan, eventually you have to put it in your when you're opening a bank account. So you rather to do this part of your business plan when you're doing it. And you have to have provide an organizational chart which shows the investors, the organization, how the members will interact. It is important that entrepreneur make an assessment for risk. As I said, it's indicate the potential risk to a new venture, discuss what might happen if this risk becomes a reality, what's your backup plan for it, in other words, and discuss the strategy to prevent or minimize or respond to this uh, risk plan. Here, we did not speak about the exit strategy plan, but it's very important that they should look at the exit strategy plan also. Now, the financial part of it, plan and appendix, the end, you need to put a financial plan, determine the investment is needed and how feasibility is there, indicate how much you are making. And there's also, if it's necessary, in the end, you have to put appendix. So you need to show some credential of your information that you are gathering, whether you have done primary data, secondary data, research you got from the internet, whatever is there, you need to put an index. So whether you got from, I don't know, searching in the Google, so they need to be a credential there to say what these things are. Three financial areas that are discussed. So keep in mind, when you go to a bank and you want to ask a loan, or you go to a venture and you ask them for its resource, effort, whatever, especially the banks or the investors, they need to look at the financial part of the plan. So it doesn't matter how much they're making. They also want to see how much they can get in, so how much they feel secure about it, or what's the collaterals there, if there is any, how much they should invest, so these are very important. So you need to summarize the forecast sales and the expenses for the first 3 years, so they know how much they should put money. Cash flow figure out, because most of the businesses, they might be making lots of money, but they are weak in a cash flow, and that might cause a bankruptcy also. Most of causing of bankruptcies is limited cash flow. A projected balance sheet shows the financial condition at a specific thing. The more it's professional, the more people will trust you to put their resources on. When I'm talking about resources, could be effort, could be their mind, could be their consultancy, could be their financial. The more it's professional done, the more people will be interested to invest And believe me, you don't need to have your money upfront. You could have billions of dollars and ask for an investor to invest, and they will be glad if you have a good business plan. So this is the last thing is a financial plan. Then you need, as we said, the appendix contains any backup material not included in the document, but reference in the document. So if you did a research, you downloaded some information from the internet, is as an appendix saying this is where I got the information. So it becomes very credential. Now, possibility includes like such as letter from customer, distribution, subcontractor, secondary, primary data. So when I did an export, set up a service from Kuwait using OG money to another country, the first thing I showed the investor is the fact I got an agreement from large banks. They're willing to partner with me on this venture. So the investor felt very easy to walk in this contract. He knows that somebody is buying before he thinks of selling. So it's a very important that if you have a letter from customer, distributor, or subcontractor, it's important that you have, as we said, secondary or primary research, lease, all these part of the appendix, which is make your business plan more credential. And now here is the issue that you need to also look at it, very important. The business plan may be read by an employee or employer. So they need to look at their benefits and the organization benefit. By investors, they might have a different look at it. By bankers, as I said in earlier, they might looking for the collaterals that they can, liquidate if you don't pay them. Venture capitalists, somebody wants to do business. The suppliers, they want to supply you and they want to collect later on from you. So whether they need to look at it, whether it's worth that they can supply you. The customer, the advisors, the consult, everyone needs to look at this business plan, and this should be covering all these things if you want to have a professional. And if you're seeking any of these people, any of these organization for a help, and the help could be in a financial, in emotion, in physical, in anything else. Imagine if Walmart comes into you and says, listen, I like your business plan, and go open a store and I will supply you with all the goods. How many people will be loving to hear that? And I won't collect any money until you sell. How much is a lovely thing. But does this happen? No, because the first thing they're going to look at it is a comprehensive and complete a business plan. Now, consider the perspective of the entrepreneur, that the customer and the investor. So the business plan is valuable to entrepreneur and investors. Investors, as we said, it could be the bank or it could be somebody with a cash. Entrepreneur is somebody who doesn't looking for an idea for a business, or you would be the entrepreneur and looking for somebody who invests with you or wants to be part of, help you in that. It helps to determine, a business plan help to determine the market valuability of a new venture. So when I wrote a business plan about the higher education, somebody wrote a business plan about the providing hospitals services. But my business plan was totally credential because I've done it according to the setup, with appendix, with the financial statement, with the market potential, with the sales, with the marketing, with the service operation. The other person who did the hospital, he just was looking at the sales, never looked at all other things. So my business plan was more credential, and the management looked at it more seriously. So they went with a solution for higher education, and instead of going for providing solution for hospital. It guides the entrepreneur in a planning activity. It is an important tool to obtain financing. It's provide the self-assessment of the entrepreneur. So these are very important that you need when you do your business plan. It should be part of it. Now, how do the lender then evaluate? I don't appreciate somebody breaks in with the music. I'm not sure if you're paying attention to the class if you're playing that loud music. Okay. Wonderful. Now I need to ask you to leave the class. So I'll find who's this person and I'll ask him to leave the class. Otherwise, I don't appreciate he does that. And by the way, it's recording. So if you claim that you didn't do that, the video is recording. And you want to make sure next time, don't do that. So I'll find out who's this person and I'll just kick him out. I think I found you. Have a good day. Now, back to the issue. Lenders are interested in the ability, and by the way, that will affect him in his marking. I will really not support him if he is late in a test or exam or in assignment or he didn't do well. Any person who is breaking other people's freedom to get educated, to move their ahead, he should not be part of the group. So we need to make sure these people understand the limit that they should, where is their freedom and where is this is moving to other people's freedoms. Now, back to the class, how do lenders and investors evaluate the plan? Now, lenders are interested in the ability to pay back debt and interest. Bankers want the objective analysis and all of the risk. So the lenders are interested in the ability to pay back the debt and the interest. And we said the bankers are interested more in collaterals and analysis of all risk involved in it. The lenders focus on 4 C's, like the credit history, the cash flow, the collaterals, and the equity contribution. The investor place more emphasis on the entrepreneur characters. The venture capitalist wants a complaint entrepreneurs. Investors focus on the market and the financial projection. So as we said, you might have a different investors who looks at a different thing. There are many reasons any different investor looks at things differently. So some of them they're looking at, making a profit. Some of them they're looking at owning plus making. So you need to really see who's your investors also. Now, the last thing is presenting the plan. Usually the local business sponsored an opportunity for entrepreneur to present their plan. The entrepreneur is expected to sell their business concept, to be more excited, more aware of their business plan, more aware of things that they are getting involved in it. So to establish their authority level, to show that they understand the business. So this is what you call as selling their business concept. When you do a presentation end of the semester, I need you to sell the idea. It could be through presentation videos and answering all the questions. Think of me as somebody, a banker or an investor who is looking at your business plan and see whether he's going to invest or not. An elevator pitch to prepare to elicit interest from potential. So present. This is why I put you in a team, because I know within the one team there would be somebody who does research better and somebody who can present better. So you can divide the roles. You don't need to divide the work. The work is a role. If you're a research, you say, I will do the research, but I'm not good at presenter. Have somebody else to do the presenter. If somebody can do, write, this person will be in charge. So divide the work between your team. And from now, put a plan of how you're going to go and build your business plan. Audience include, as I said, could be investors who may ask questions regarding the strategies conveyed in the presentation. So when you're presenting a plan, I will be reading it, and then will have a meeting to on a week 14 probably to do a Q&A for that. Now, using and implementing a business plan. The plan is designed to guide the business through a first year and should contain control points to a certain progress. When measuring a plan progress, check the plan projection in the key area frequently. You need to control the inventory to ensure the maximum service to the customers. Production control, cost control, quality control, sales control, and the information that how much in a dollar, what's your profit level, and control of distribution and distributions, as well as your website and social media control. There was when I was when I'm teaching management information system. I one of the assignment that I tell them that you have to sell. I know all these tools, website and social medias are marketing tools, but you need to let me know why you selected this tool over the others to do the social media control and business. Now there's a contingency plan, so you need to make sure that for a sudden change or disasters, disaster recoveries and the disasters, and the process will vary in the nature of the business. So in fact, the process will vary in the nature of the business, but include any factor that can affect the venture that you have. You need to look at it. Identify the rules and duties of personnel, not by person, by task, jobs, or position. Use the training and walkthroughs. Understand the goal of contingency plan. Why do you need to have any contingency plan? What if analysis? What if I cannot sell first year? Well, this is a contingency plan. Use a step-by-step plan, not a general. Be clear on weakness. Where is the weakness in this plan, or where is the weakness that you cannot control? So your plan would be more trustworthy. You cannot tell me a business has no risk in it. There is a risk, and risk comes from outside and from inside. Inside comes in because of the weakness that you have, outside because something you cannot control. Details should be contacted on how in the event of a disaster is happening. So is there an exit strategy? How are you going to do if there is a disaster, just like what's happened now? How are you going to sell your products? For doing a backup database using the cloud or some other. These are small contingency plans that it might be affecting the whole business. Imagine you have all the data set up in your system and there is no backup for it, and suddenly you lose all your contacts. So you need to, even the small things that you need to work on it. Identify who is the contact, the media in the event of the crisis. So as the video said, why some business plans fails, and you notice that they said over 90% of businesses fail. There's 10%, and that's 10%, most of them not gonna last more than 5 years. Some industries are more likely, like restaurants, they usually don't last very long. So the poorly prepared business plan may have the following factors. Goal were unreasonable, sort of, hey, I'm gonna sell this, or the objective are not measurable. So your goal is not clear how much you sell. The entrepreneur is not fully committed or has no experience. The entrepreneur has no sense of potential threat of weakness, and no customer need was established for the product. So these are main reasons why a business plan fails. The objective should be specific, measurable, and monitored. The more numbers, the better. The more measurable, that's better. The more credential, that's better. The more is able to be monitored, it's better. This is what all the investors and banks is looking at. The entrepreneur and their family should commit it, gain needed knowledge, or team up to someone who has it. Okay. The last point is document customer needs before preparing the plan. So if you've done your research, you've done your study, you need to document that. If you got this information from internet as a secondary data, you need to document that. Now there is 2 short small videos that I want to share it with you. Take a look at it, and we finished just chapter 7, and I need your assignment. So please have your assignment sent to me. Now, please see this video. It's a very interesting short one. It's the marketing plan.
The Coffee Collective does brisk business in the heart of this college town. But the shop's success can't be measured in just dollars and cents. The 4 Ps, product, price, place, and promotion, are important functions of any business, but they are just one part of a company's marketing plan, not the only part. The 4 Ps represent the implementation phase, but you can't offer a quality product at a fair market price in the right place without first going through the necessary steps of planning. Martha had always dreamed of opening up an independent coffee house, but she knew there was a lot of competition. She used a SWOT analysis to assess her own internal business plan and the external environment. The big corporate franchise, $5, churns out cup after cup of consistent coffee, but doesn't offer much to locals beyond a place to sit and some Wi-Fi. And the local convenience store on the opposite corner has no amenities at all. Martha saw an opportunity. She dreamed of offering an alternative spot where college students could study, socialize, and buy a quality cup of coffee made with fair trade beans from local artisanal roasters, services she knew would appeal to the neighborhood demographic. Sure, she'd probably have to charge a little more, but she could offer a community environment that her competition can't match. With the planning phase complete, Martha is able to put her customized brew of the 4 Ps into action. By targeting the right market segment and positioning the Coffee Collective as the place for students to come, connect, and drink coffee, of course. When Martha evaluates her marketing efforts, the 3rd phase of the marketing plan, she can trace back the Coffee Collective's success to her unique brand of products and services and strong customer relationships that result in repeat business and loyal customers. After all, you don't become successful by selling just one cup of coffee, but by having a marketing plan that helps you resell that coffee experience over and over again.
Okay, there is another one that I want you to see before we break. Sorry. And it's about the iMarketing.
Gabby Hernandez came to college on a volleyball scholarship. But she also wants to join a student organization that supports her career path and her passions. The Green Team might be a perfect fit for Gabby, especially because she is thinking about pursuing a major in sustainable product development. Or maybe the Young Explorers would interest Gabby, an eco-conscious adventure-seeking group dedicated to minimizing mankind's impact on Mother Nature. But how can these clubs with similar sustainability messages grab her attention? In today's multi-platform world, many organizations and businesses turn to social media to drive awareness and attract customers. But just asking people to like a company's Facebook page isn't enough. Social media tactics need to engage and motivate. It's the key to creating value for your customers. Organizations can learn a lot about their current customers and gain insight on how to engage new ones by listening to what consumers have to say on social networks, blogs, and review sites. But simply paying attention to customer feedback isn't enough. This data needs to be analyzed and eventually implemented and monitored over time. Social media metrics include tracking the amount of traffic a firm's website receives through measuring page views and hits, how a visitor clicks through the site, and conversion rates. Conversion rates measure the percentage of users who actually do what the marketer hopes, whether it's buying something, clicking on a certain link, or in the case of the campus organizations Green Team and Young Explorers, actually converting students into members. Green Team may have a clever social media campaign to try and build awareness, but if it doesn't create value for the customer, nobody will be motivated to join the cause. Young Explorers used the information gathered from social media metrics to create and implement an online campaign that engages, connects customers to their brand, and keeps members clicking. Enjoy exploring, Gabby!
Okay, so if you notice, social medias are very important in the marketing, but you need to select the right social media and do the right activities in the social media. You have to define what you are looking for and who you're looking for, and then use the right social media. Because if you are looking to do a professional business, you might use LinkedIn. But if you wanted to do a friendly business, you might do a Facebook. So every social media has own strategy and its own market target. And you need to analyze that before you use any tools that's available. Now, I think next week we will start talking about the chapter 8, and feel free if you want to leave, and have a nice day. Let me know if you have any question, please. Okay, if you don't have any question, well, see you next week. Bye-bye.